So on one of the comments on my unboxing of Bailey by Meadowdolls, I was asked if I could show how it was that I put on um, wigs and eyes for BJD dolls, especially for new people coming into the hobby. That seems really daunting, knowing that you've ordered a doll and it will come nude, it will not have a wig on, and it will not have their eyes in. So now, let me first say that lots of people have different ways of keeping their wigs on their dolls and lots of ways of putting in their eyes. So this is just my way, and you can take from it what you will, right? So let's first talk about wigs, and I've got my beautiful model here, who is Bailey, to help out today, right? So Bailey here is wearing what in most doll communities that I've been in is called a Tibetan lambskin wig. Now in BJD world, I don't know why, but it's called mohair. So if you're looking for a wig for BJD, if you see mohair, it can mean this. So look and inspect the texture of the wig when you see the photographs, because it may well be that it's a Tibetan lambskin wig. Now I'm going to take it off my gorgeous girl Bailey here to explain why that is. The reason it's called Tibetan lambskin is because it's literally made from the lambskin of Tibetan lambs. So that's the hide, and it's sewn together, and it makes a gorgeous full wig, and I absolutely love it. Has absolutely no stretch to it, has no elastic on the inside, so you really want to get for a Tibetan lambskin wig something that's made for that doll or the right size for that doll. Right, so this is an Ubi doll wig, and she makes wigs especially for the 18-inch My Meadowdolls. So this fits Bailey perfectly. So how I prepare my dolls for their wigs is I actually put something called next care on the head cap. Now let me talk about head caps. Every BJD can be disassembled, so to speak, right? So in the case of wigs, eyes, they're strung together, and their head is strung into their body, right? To access the inside of the head in order to put their eyes in, you have what's called a head cap. Now the head cap goes on like that, and some dolls actually have face plates, which means that the front of their face comes off as opposed to having a head cap. That makes changing eyes a lot easier, can I just say? But it's usually not the case. It's usually in really tiny dolls that's the case. Most of them have head caps, right? So I know that looks scary, but it's not scary at all. In my case, what I do when I want to make sure that a wig clings to the doll's head, because resin's really slippery, and it can be very easy for wigs to slip and slide on a doll's head and make it very difficult, especially if you try and take photos. So I use something called Next Care, which is tape for injuries. You can get it at any pharmacy, any chemist, and I tape it to the back of their heads. And what it does is it provides that grip that you need for the wigs cling onto. Other people use different things. So some people use hot glue, sort of dribble hot glue on the back of the head, and that provides a grip for the head. Other people also use things like balloons. So white balloons, you snip off the top of it and you actually wrap the white balloon to the back of the head cap. That works really well. I used that for many years actually, but I'm finding that Next Care generally gives better grip, I find, especially in the big dolls. There are other ways to do it. You can also get a little bit of putty, stick it to the top of the head, and then stick the wig to the putty. That works really well as well. But I find that I like the Next Care. Now, Bailey here has got the Next Care on her head, so to put a wig on that has no stretch, such as the Tibetan lambskin, let me just move her a little bit closer so you can see. Like the Tibetan lambskin, really how you need to do it is not hard, right? So you just make sure that there isn't any sort of fur caught in there, and you're just slipping it on. Now, putting the wig on is one thing, right? So getting it to fit nicely and everything is one thing. What you also want to do is you want to have what's called a realistic hairline, right? So if you've got it all the way down like that, honestly, she looks like she has no forehead at all. And that's not really realistic. If you have it too high up, she looks like she's got a receding hairline, also not attractive. So you want to look in the mirror and you want to see where it is that a natural hairline sits. And generally, it sits about there. And then suddenly your doll looks like a little girl, right? Like a real little girl. And that's really important, that she has enough of a forehead that she doesn't look like she has, no forehead at all, and she doesn't want to look like a receding hairline. So that's the wig placement for the Tibetan lambskin or the mohair, whatever you want to call it. Speaking of mohair, to me, this is a mohair wig. So that's a Kempo wig, and it's listed as a mohair wig. Now, that is obviously not Tibetan lambskin. It is a really fine, very, very sort of coarse wig. But it's actually really nice if you really want that soft, not too full baby look, right? So in this case here, let me just adjust her again. I've just put it on her. Look how pretty she looks. What you want to do is you want to tease it. Your wigs will come to you really, really swooshed and smooshed. So you want to really sort of tease it, make sure her curls are up there, make sure she's pretty, and then your wig's on. I've got another wig here, which is a Monique wig, and I think this is a Angelica. So with Monique wigs, when you turn them inside out, it actually shows you with a little round thing there where the front of your wig is. So what you want to do is, with Monique wigs, because they have that elastic, or just past that, because they have the elastic on the back, what you need to do is just turn them inside out and do that, right? And it will literally just flick over her head. Once it's flicked over her head, then you can adjust it, you can play with it, make her look cute, and she does look cute. And then she's good to go. So wigs are not difficult, really not difficult. It's about buying the right size, buying something that you think will look nice on the doll. And that's one of the reasons I take so many photos of them in so many different sorts of wigs, so that you can choose the best one for your taste, right? So something babyish like this, something big and full like the Tibetan lambskin, whatever you like, that's what you want to get for your doll. So I'll be right back because I want to do one on eyes as well. So, and I'll splice these together, right? Okay, so let's talk about eyes. The eyes probably are the more daunting thing for new collectors, because they think, oh, it must be really hard. It's not really. Now, if you remember, I showed you the head cap. So let's take Bailey's head cap off, and I'll explain to you why it's not difficult. Now, most collectors that I know, if they want to change the eyes on the dolls, what they do is they take the head off the doll. That may seem really scary. It's not scary. I don't take the eyes off because I change my doll's eyes fairly frequently for photographs, and I've learned to do it just, at the back of their head, so it's up to you. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take Bailey's head off so it's easier for you to see what it is I'm doing. Alright, so I've taken a head cap off, and I'm going to show you the back of the head. As you can see, like I said, because ball jointed dolls are strung together with elastic, she's got a little bit of elastic there being held by a hook. So her head is being held onto her body by a hook, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove her head by twisting that hook. So I'm going to show you. Twisted that hook around so that it goes through the slot, and her head is off. Not scary, it's fine, everything's good. So this is the back of young Bailey's head, right? So gorgeous, gorgeous girl, back of her head, and her eyes are held down by putty. Now I've just realized going through my stuff, I don't have any round eyes to show you how to put round eyes in, because it's got a slightly different technique to it. I've only got flat back eyes, but I'll try and demonstrate how you do that. So to take the eyes out, if the eyes are already in the doll, all you have to do is peel them off, and Bob's your uncle. Now, I will talk a little bit as well about the kind of putty that you can use. Some people use blue tack. I find blue tack really difficult to use because they tend to, as you're trying to put the eyes in, they tend to stick to your finger more than they stick to the resin, which makes it incredibly frustrating. Whereas this putty, which my Meadow sent with Bailey, it's gorgeous. It's got sort of skin color, so it's, even if a little bit of putty shows, it's not too bad. So this is what I've been using in Bailey. However, what I tend to use if I had to go out and buy putty is something called Max earplugs. No, they're seriously earplugs. So I get the soft, pillow soft silicone putty earplugs. They are really good eye putty for dolls, right? And funnily enough, if you go and buy eye putty from a lot of places, that's literally all they're selling. So it comes in a little box like this for that size, and you usually get 4. I've used 1 already, so these are really good. They're clear, so they don't show in photographs. If you know, a little bit shows in their eyes, 1 daub like that would easily do the eyes of a doll Bailey size, right? So, but in this case, I'm not gonna use that because I've already got putty here from my meadow, and getting putty on the doll's eyes. Let me just have a quick discussion about that, because, like I said, there are round eyes and there are also flat back eyes. Now these are flat back eyes, and you can see they're flat. I really like these eyes. They're sort of oval, so it's easier to cover the whole eye socket of the doll. However, sometimes the colors that you want to get your doll means that you're going to have to get a round eye. Now, with a flat back eye, really easy. You want to just make your putty into a round ball like that, and you want to press your eye into it, right? And that provides you with everything you need to put the eye in. However, and I don't have a round eye, so I'm just going to pretend I do. And with a round eye, what you want, it's slightly different, because obviously being round, you've got a bit sticking out the back that the flat doesn't have. So what you want to do to make sure that there's contact with the eye socket is you want to make your putty into a little worm shape. And what you do, that's probably too big, but what you want to do is you want to fit your round eye into that shape so that the back sticks out the back and the front is still visible. And when you put it into the eye socket, you have a little bit sticking out the back, the front of the eye coming out the eye socket, and that part in contact with the eye socket. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So looking at Bailey there, you'll see that her eye socket, that's her eye socket. And what you want to do is you want to have the putty in contact with the eye socket. So when you put the eye in, like that, you want the putty there and in contact with the eye socket. With the round eyes, if you put it along the side of it, it's much easier for it to come in contact with the eye socket, right? So I'm just going to do that same thing with this one because it's a flat back. And then we'll talk a little bit about positioning of eyes, because that too has a little bit of trick on it. In fact, if you looked up BJD eye position, there's lots and lots of tutorials about it. But let me just put eye in. As you can see, as her eye is going in, you're squeezing, pushing in the back, the putty in the back, to make sure that, this is what I meant by blue tack, sticking to your fingers more than sticking to the doll, whereas with this and with the Max, that doesn't happen. It tends to stick. All right. So I'm just going to show you Bailey's eyes and how I've done them. So you can see her eyes are not quite aligned. I'm going to align them now, and you can do that just by adjusting the back here against the putty. But what I wanted to talk about was eye positioning as well. So if you look at normal, like most humans, you will see that when I'm looking at you, I'm just going to stop doing that for a while and look at you so you can see what I mean. If they're looking at you, the bottom of their iris is touching their bottom lip. That's what makes them look wide-eyed and interested. And my eyes are really dark, so you can't really see it, but the pupil is usually touching the top lid. And like I said, that makes them look interested, not antagonistic, not angry. Now, if she was looking at you like that, she kind of looks aggressive, even though she's got the sweetest face. So you don't want to do that. You want to push her eyes, whoa, too much, her eyes up, so that the bottom of her iris is about touching, that's a bit loose, give me a sec. Is touching the bottom lid, and the pupil is touching the top lid. And what you get when you do that is you get that really gorgeous, innocent, sweet looking face, right? that you really want to see in your dolls. So positioning the eyes to get them to look realistic is really important, I feel, to getting good photographs, getting your dolls looking really nice when they're being displayed. So, and if you look at my photographs, you'll see that that's what I strive towards, even when they're looking, you know, left to right, that their eyes are lined up, and that they've got that pupil, the pupil at the top, you know, the iris down the bottom. Then they get a really, really cute look. Putting the head back on is really simple. Bang! And then you're pulling this up and twisting it so that it's secured in place again, and then our head cap goes back on. Done! Alright, so that's really it. Not difficult to do. I know it's daunting if you're new, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. Right, so if you have any other questions, please feel free to comment. I'll try and help. But you know, to those of you who just got into the BJD hobby, welcome, and gosh, you're going to have fun. All right, I hope that helped. Enjoy the video, and speak soon. Bye.